Coming up on WFT Midday, back on the campaign trail with beefed up security. The former president and vice president's pushes to gain voters from the Hispanic community. Diddy's bail will remain in jail after a second bail rejection. Sunny skies locally, but it may not last. The UF weather team is tracking north central Florida's next round of rain, plus the latest brewing in the tropics. WFT Midday starts right now. Vice President Harris addressed issues of the economy and immigration with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus on the campaign trail last night. Meanwhile, former President Trump held his first rally in New York last night since the second apparent assassination attempt. This is WFT Midday. I'm Tanya Fedak. As Bree Jackson reports, the former president is now traveling the country with extra security in tow.
Under heightened security, former President Trump addressed rally-goers in New York.
This evil would-be assassin got within a few hundred yards of where I stood, but thankfully, our outstanding Secret Service agent, and they are outstanding.
Mr. Trump also doubling down on debunked claims about immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, pledging to travel there in the next 2 weeks.
You may never see me again, but that's okay. Gotta do what I gotta do. Whatever happened to Trump? Well, he never got out of Springfield.
The city's mayor urging both campaigns to stay away, and the Ohio governor agrees.
I think the candidates should talk about the mess on the southern border. This is a real, legitimate issue that the American people are very, very concerned about.
Speaking to a gathering of Hispanic leaders, Vice President Harris stressed tackling border security and immigration reform.
Understand we can do both. Create an earned pathway to citizenship and ensure our border is secure.
Financial security remains top of mind for most Americans and a key election issue. The Federal Reserve announcing welcome news that it's slashing interest rates by 0.5 point.
This decision reflects our growing confidence that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength in the labor market can be maintained.
This marks the Fed's first rate cut since the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, an aggressive start to easing concerns about inflation. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
The manhunt for a suspect accused of the I-75 mass shooting in Kentucky earlier this month is now over. Investigators believe they found the suspect's body. As Amy Kiley reports, it took 11 days to find the man they say was armed and dangerous.
People of Laurel County can rest easy.
The Kentucky State Police Commissioner says the search is over for the man who allegedly shot 5 people on I-75 in Kentucky this month. Officials say they believe they found his body, though their investigation continues. The discovery is likely a relief for people south of Lexington. It seems to end 11 days of worry that an armed and dangerous mass shooting suspect was potentially on the loose.
We've had school cancellations, we've had church cancellations, people's been in fear. That's not the normal here in Laurel County. So now that this has been discovered, I hope that our county can get back to what's normal.
Police say they think it's the suspect's body due to items found with it. They say 2 troopers and 2 civilians discovered the remains not far from the shooting site.
We come out of here and seen a bunch of vultures up there, and what we've been looking for, if somebody's dead, it will be the vultures. Follow the vultures.
The motive for the violence is still unclear.
I really wish that we could have had him live. We could have asked him what his intentions was. We could have put him through the courts. The prosecutors could have prosecuted him, and he'd have paid for what he done.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Rapper Sean Diddy Combs will remain in jail after he was denied bail for a second time. We told you Wednesday the music mogul was seeking bond after citing horrific jail conditions. Wednesday, a federal judge rejected Combs' appeal of another judge's ruling that he stay in law enforcement's custody. According to the federal indictment against Combs, he faces multiple charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. His defense argued that Combs would only have contact with female family members and would be put on home detention if granted bail. The judge said those things did not provide reasonable assurance Combs would return to court.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail.
If he's convicted, he faces up to life in prison. His next court appearance is scheduled for October 9th. Deputies in Alachua County arrested an 11-year-old they say is behind a recent school shooting threat. Alachua County Public Schools received the potential threat earlier in the week. Deputies found the child attends Kanapaha Middle School. During questioning, investigators said the suspect admitted it was a joke. He was arrested and charged with written threats to do harm. Alachua County neighbors impacted by Hurricane Debbie still have time to apply for disaster assistance. The county's Disaster Recovery Center remains open at Mill Hopper Library until October 9th. Officials are on site providing one-on-one help to apply, check status, or receive recommendations for other helping agencies. FEMA has awarded more than $1.7 million to local residents and business owners since Debbie hit last month. Ocala Fire Rescue will conduct a training burn tomorrow at the Ocala International Airport. Officials say the live fire burn will take place between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., and it will simulate an aircraft emergency on airport grounds. OFR officials say smoke and flames may be visible during the training and are asking residents and businesses in the area to not be alarmed as the burn poses no threat to the public. We are currently looking at I-75 in Alachua County traffic camera and a normal flow for the noon hour. The skies are also looking clear and may predict the type of weekend we may have. Let's get over to UF meteorologist William Maxham with the latest forecast.
Yeah, we are looking at generally sunny skies over the short term, but there are a couple of showers and storms already popping up basically in the middle of the Villages and Daytona Beach. We have one area of rain and kind of a dotted line there of a couple more showers extending westward back into Marion County. Temperatures in the mid and upper 80s there, 86 Ocala, 82 in Gainesville. It is 84 Crystal River, and today we're going to get up to around 90 degrees. And there's a look from near Ocala. You can see in Marion County we've got some of those clouds building. A few spotty showers definitely are possible through the day today, but that chance is kind of low, only about a 20% chance. Seeing rain in any one location, temperatures should max out right around the 90-degree mark. We're looking at drier, somewhat drier air moving in from the north over the next couple days. That's going to keep our rain chances low into the weekend, but a couple showers definitely possible as we go through the rest of the afternoon. You can see those showers in Marion County developing a bit, and then a couple of just hit or miss showers further north. Tomorrow, pretty similar to what we had today. Start off around 70. We'll get up into the upper 80s with only a few hit or miss showers into the afternoon. Tropical season, we're still in the middle of it. Our next storm would be the H storm Helene, and we're watching one area very closely. This cluster of showers here going to be moving northward in the next week, and it's expected to potentially develop into a storm. Right now, a medium chance of that happening. A quick look at one of the computer models shows where that's going to be starting to strengthen. Again, this is not happening this weekend. It is next weekend that we could start to see a hurricane into the Gulf that could potentially be threatening the Gulf Coast for basically next Saturday, Sunday. But again, that is next weekend. This weekend, no weather issues. Temperatures are going to be into the mid and upper 80s with an isolated shower or storm here and there. Otherwise, rain chances looking rather low over the next 7 days. Temperatures should be near average into the upper 80s to right around 90.
The federal government is urging neighbors to start having conversations about what to do when disasters like hurricanes strike. September is National Preparedness Month, and as Emily Schmidt reports, leaders say there's no time like the present to get prepared.
It can be difficult when the sky is blue to picture it falling. But then you see what happened in coastal North Carolina just this week.
We've had reports of 14 to 20 inches in 12 hours.
Once in a 1,000-year rainfall event, yet this storm, potential Tropical Cyclone 8, didn't even qualify for a formal storm name.
If it rains at your home, it could flood at your home.
According to the Insurance Information Institute, natural catastrophe losses in 2022 in the U.S., including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, totaled $114 billion.
We always say prepare for the worst, hope for the best, that you'll never have to use any of this, but home inventories, evacuation plans are essential in preparedness for catastrophes.
The federal government has this checklist. Gather documents, photograph or scan, put in a waterproof container, from birth certificates to lists of medications to insurance policies. Know what your insurance covers and what it doesn't.
Otherwise, you could suffer a loss from a hurricane, a tornado, a wildfire, and you have a gap in coverage, meaning your home has been destroyed, you're not going to get enough money to replace it.
No season is safe from disasters, no time enough when they approach.
I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave my home. So I have.
The only guarantee, experts say, is there's time now to prepare and protect what you have as much as possible. For Consumer Watch, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Former President Donald Trump is now able to sell his estimated $2 billion shares of Truth Social. The restraints previously placed on the sale are now set to expire. Trump has declared he will not sell the shares despite losing around $4 billion in the last 4 months. Financial analysts predict if the sale happens, it could negatively impact the stock market. Amazon warehouse workers are getting a pay raise and free Prime membership. The company announced the average starting wage has increased to more than $22 an hour. This will impact more than 800,000 frontline employees. The pay raise comes before the holiday shopping season, where online sales are expected to increase. We're working to learn more information about Silver Airways stopping its service from Gainesville to Fort Lauderdale. The direct flights are expected to end on October 6th. We checked the airport's flight booking page and learned there are no more flights happening past the 6th. We've reached out to both Silver Airways and the Gainesville Regional Airport to learn if more flights are planned, and we're waiting to hear back. Boeing has put temporary furloughs in places to preserve cash during the worker strike. As 33,000 members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers bring airplane production to a halt, Boeing is trying to recover. Workers will be suspended for 1 week every 4 weeks. This temporary decision will affect U.S.-based executives, managers, and employees. Potential pay cuts may also follow.
I think that's ridiculous. If they're already willing to shell out money like that, why don't they just pay us what we were asking for in the first place?
Union members say they want a 40% pay bump over 4 years to make up for recent inflation. Workers say they are prepared to continue striking as long as it takes to get their demands met. Gainesville's 23rd annual Senior Games kicks off tomorrow at the Ironwood Golf Course. The events will take place across the city with notable locations like the Alachua County Sports and Event Center and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Events will be hosted throughout the upcoming weekends, with the last game being table tennis taking place on October 6th. Now let's get over to WFT First at 5 anchor Kirsten Maselka with a look at what's coming up on Channel 5.
Thanks, Tanya. Our team is gathering the latest on major changes to RTS bus stops around the area, including improvements that will upgrade hundreds of locations to meet ADA compliance, and how the city is helping RTS build a hub in East Gainesville. Also, how Hurricane Debbie could impact local agriculture, a report by UF's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences on the damage and what it means for you. And a waterfront restaurant in Cedar Key is going up in flames as we speak. We're working to learn what sparked the flames that follows a string of similar fires on the coast. We'll have the details coming up on First at 5.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Yeah, talking about Hurricane Debbie, that was about a month ago, and we've been quiet in the tropics, and it's not this weekend, but next weekend that we could be getting worried about another potential hurricane headed our way. But this weekend, very quiet, nothing in the tropics this weekend. We've got temperatures into the 80s. Our dew point temperatures, that's how much moisture is in the air. They're in the mid 70s, still feeling very summer-like. And one change that we will see from now into the weekend is a slight drop in that mugginess, that muggy meter going down a touch out of the 70s into the 60s. So they're still going to be humid, but it's going to feel just a little bit more comfortable headed into next week. But the heat, well, doesn't really change in any kind of significant way. We're still going to be very warm into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees today, Friday, and all through the weekend. Next weekend, subtly cooler, but it's barely noticeable. What is going to be, I think, more noticeable is those early morning temperatures as they touch into the 60s. It'll feel a little less muggy, so walking around, not going to be quite as sweaty when you arrive at work.
All right, thanks for joining us for WFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition. We now join Sports Scene with Steve Russell live on WRUF Radio and right here on WRUF-TV Channel 6.